Kuda, definition of Kuda, there's several different definitions floating around. One definition is pretty kind of a chilling thing, is that one of the meanings is death will come for you and your camel. That's kind of a chilling thing. Not only for you, your camel's going to die too. Kuda basically, ancient meaning, is connected with death in a very painful, chilling type of way. Now let me draw a little line here. Okay, everything, let's see. As far as what is what here? This is very substantial. This is very provable. I know Al, I trained with Al, he trained with Doc Lee. This all, historically, is very accurate. So I would say this is clear, clear as a bright sunny day right there. When we go back this far in history, we're getting a little hazy, say. We're going a lot, we're going a lot by faith as far as what Doc Lee said about these guys. I mean, I could have had it come from somewhere. That's the explanation he gave it. That's what we'll go with. And then we'll go back this far. We're getting kind of foggy. 2 G's and foggy? Yeah, 1 G, I don't know. We're a little foggy. I mean, we'll never be able to prove substantially this, history going back that far with what little we have. And I'm keeping a lookout. Al still researching it. We've got some other people looking at things, and hopefully, we'll find some more links that links us from here to here in the future. Another point I want to bring out is the ancient bodyguard. Some people ask, why would you protect the pharaoh without weapons? Why not didn't they have swords and things like that? Well, the kuda can be used with or without weapons. It can be used unarmed and armed. And if you think about that, that really is a smart thing to do. The ancient Greeks did that. If you look at their pottery, you find them throwing javelins. You see that same body mechanic used when they do boxing. So they didn't have to learn, all the different arts separately. When by learning one thing, they were getting better at another one. And that's the same thing with hiku2. When you're working your hand to hand, you're striking, you're getting better at your grappling, which we'll get into later, for those of you who are going to continue on with the jiu-jitsu system. And then when you're talking any weapons, improvised weapons, or knives, clubs, or even firearms, you're using the same body mechanics, the same everything, and it's all going to be hiku2. You're going to learn it together. When you get better at stick fighting, you get better at hand-to-hand fighting. You're also improving your grappling. It's all working together. We're not the only ones to do that. And so the ancients did that. There's several spec op units even today that even though they don't do hiku2, they do something else, but they utilize the same body mechanics and everything they do, just thus cutting down on the training time they need. And because there's only so many hours in a day, and so much energy in the system, you can't really get really good at a lot of different things. You got to really do a lot of specific training just for this and this and this. Let's see. That's about it for the history. Like I said, this is pretty much it as far as we know now. As I get more information, I'll relay it to you. Thanks. A few additions here to the history section. I looked at my notes I forgot to include here. Anyway, your Egyptians, we're talking kuda. That's your striking. That's your basic principles and your striking pretty much. Now, when it got to the commandos, what they did was they took several jiu-jitsu systems that were very effective, and they integrated them with the kuda, and that's where we get hiku2. I don't think you'll be able to see that on camera. But anyway, they integrated these 3 different systems, Judai, and Jutsu, which were very effective systems in their own right. They integrated them with kuda to form hiku2. So your grappling and your striking and all that came. They also added to the kuda the modern day tactical operations, the modern day weapons, that kind of thing to form, a very effective modern fighting system. Thought I'd throw that in. I've kind of neglected that before. Whether or not we'll ever be able to prove a lot of this when we go back here, I don't know. I don't know for sure that people have done some research as far as in the databases and found that hiku2 comes up in certain secret groups, and as far as in this commando group, which I'm not going to give out the name of it, also comes up, but there's not a whole lot of information that's being divvied out at this point. I don't know. I guess it's still classified to a degree. For so many years, something's supposed to be declassified unless it's still needed to be secret for some reason, so there must be some need for that, I guess. But that's what we got. We got kuda in the ancient days. Now, even back here, they probably integrated their forms of wrestling and that kind of different systems in with the kuda too. I know there's a lot of things in the jiu-jitsu systems, and I trained in those, and I'll probably bring them out later, that I've never seen. I've trained a lot of different jiu-jitsu systems, both modern and ancient, modernized eclectic systems. And there's a lot of things that I've never seen anywhere else that I really think might also date back to the ancient cultures as far as the grappling goes, grappling and combat wrestling. But I don't know for sure. Maybe it was just some advanced Japanese jiu-jitsu systems. Thanks. Okay, in this class we're going to cover the basic principles of CUDA. Just your basics here. This is going to give you, keep this an idea of what you're doing, and when we go into the actual developmental drills, kind of watch this, watch it a few times, get it in your mind, and you'll see it again and again in actual application as we get an actual developing of your CUDA hand. Okay, the first thing here, first, oh man, this is one sorry.
It ain't gonna show up.
Show up.
It is not showing up.
Showing up at all?
Not at all.
Okay, you're gonna have to imagine. You have to use your imagination. This is like a block. You can see it. You check that out.
Barely.
Barely, right? Better than nothing. First thing, oh, the orange comes out better. The first thing is you want to transfer kinetic energy, which is the energy of motion, into our target. Okay, we want to have our body weapon, so to speak, situated in such a way that that happens. And the way we do that is with a relaxed fist. It's not a hard fist that you see in virtually all systems. It's soft, and what we do, if you manually, this is a good example. If you're holding something like this, but it's not actually there, this is actually off your, this is actually off your, your index finger, they're not touching. That's your hiku2 hand right there. It doesn't look very powerful, but it'll generate the kinetic energy into your target far better than a hard fist. You see later, we're going to do some little drills, and you need to do them on your own. We can actually experience this. So we're looking at transferred energy. Energy transfer. We'll get a close-up of this, maybe it'll come out. Transfer. Softness.
I gotta remember how to zoom.
Energy transfer into your target. That's what we want to happen. Proper hand position. Then the next little thing here. That's one of the principles we want to build upon that with body mass. I prefer that. Body mass. Into transfer of energy via the soft fist, hiku2 hand, of course. And when you get your body mass into your strikes, your weight will be going into your target. A couple of good examples of this is, say you had a 20-pound bowling ball. That doesn't sound, 20 pounds isn't a whole lot of weight, but if you drop that on your foot, you could break your foot. And all that is body mass. Another example would be your, like a tack dog, say a 90-pound Rottweiler. When he attacks, he comes with his whole body weight going into whatever he's striking. And a 90-pound Rottweiler, most people don't want to face one of those without a weapon of some kind. But say a 90-pound child, you don't really feel like that's a big threat. The child's not going to be able to generate that body mass into the target as would the animal. Animals just naturally, instinctively know how to do this. And that's what we want to have happen to us in hiku2. We want our body mass going into our strikes. Okay, and I have another little, in case you haven't figured it out yet, I'm kind of building a little pyramid here. You know this being Egyptian in origin. That'd be appropriate. It's kind of big, so maybe you can see them. Okay, we got our transfer of energy, body mass, and this is called twisting or coiling. You know, twist or coil into your strikes. For example, and that's just going to be twisting into your strikes. If you throw your strike with your soft fist, with your body weight going into your target. And an example of this would be like a spring of a car. You guys who work on cars, there's a lot of compression in that spring, and that spring produces a tremendous amount of energy. The spring is a big development technology-wise, and so there's a lot of energy in there, and that's the same kind of energy you'd be putting into your hiku2 hand strikes as we get going. And we'll build upon that. Kind of kind of weird. With one of the hallmarks, one of the distinguishing points of hiku2 or CUDA is startle. Startle, all we're talking about in startle is the same body reaction you get if you touch something hot. You'll just instantly, very quickly move away from it. Or it's the same reaction you get if you walk along and you almost step on a snake. I've seen people levitate, be able to do amazing things when they get startled. It's a startle reaction. It's something that is natural in you, and we're going to take advantage of that. In hiku2, we're going to take advantage of all our natural reactions to fear, And we're going to be able to develop this startle where we can actually do it whenever we want to. We're not going to have to see a snake or touch something hot. We can startle whenever we want to. We're going to be able to call upon this at any time. Okay, these three things here, collectively, total body total body involvement in our strikes. In other words, everything from the tips of our toes to the top of our head is going to be dedicated to throw maximum strikes in the hiku2 combat system, in the hiku2 hand. You have your maximum energy transfer. You're not going to waste it with a hard fist. Your body mass is into your strikes. No use, no use to just lean a little bit. Get your body mass in there. Get that 150 pounds, or 130 pounds, or 200 pounds, whatever you happen to weigh. You want that force going into your target. Use that twisting, coiling power. And this isn't just a hip twist like you have in a lot. This is your whole body. It's going to twist and coil into your target, making it much more powerful. And your startle is going to improve your speed and your power. You'll be able to move much faster than you normally could without the startle training. And you'll be able to move with much more power. All these things are adding on each other. Just this alone would be pretty good. Just this would be good. I mean, everything individually would give you tremendous power and speed. But if you put it all together, it gives you just an amazing, amazing principle, amazing technique. Okay, we're going to build upon that. That little, anything like a pyramid yet? A whip. Whipping motions. Our motions are going to be like a whip. Cutting whipping motion. Not like hitting with a 2x4. It's going to be quick. It's going to be like a whip. Hit with a whip. The whipping cutting motion. That's going to increase your speed. In addition to the other elements I just mentioned. Okay, fluid. Small here. I'll put that, abbreviate that. Fluid, natural movements. Everything's going to be natural, just like walking or anything else that's natural to you. You're not going to have to learn any type of contortions that are kind of weird that you're going to constantly have to practice in order to keep that skill. People have taken basic hiku2 hand, hiku2, almost 10 years ago, and maybe not thought anything else of it, and confronted with a hostile situation, were able to effectively utilize hiku2 even though they've not been specifically training in it day in and day out as you would most systems. I know I've trained in systems where you can get good after a while if you practice, but as soon as you slack off on your practice, your skills start dropping immediately. Not so with hiku2. You can practice. The more you practice, the better you get. That's optimum. But Murphy's Law, one of the laws we're going to cover extensively, is when you need something the most, when you really need to be good, you're going to be sick, you're going to be injured, you're going to be under a situation where you haven't been able to train for months on end. What are you going to do then? With hiku2, you can still, this is all going to become natural to you. It's all going to become instinctive, internalized very quickly. We're talking, you can come out of class, 20-minute class, you can pretty much do this effectively. And if you practice 20 minutes a week, or 20 minutes a day, say 2-3 times a week, after a month you get really good. And after 3 months, it's pretty much with you for life at that point. And you still want to practice, you still can get better, but you pretty much got it at that point. You're going to be able to utilize it not only in a stripe, but in a lot of other ways, as we'll see. And one more thing. This is a thing that the commandos added to it mainly for continuous motion. Put that in. Continuous motion. You want to keep moving till the situation has been rectified. This has an application in multiple opponents and also with just one opponent. You keep the attack going until it's over. And every motion, one of the things you'll find in hiku2, we have this little proverb says, spinning top reflects all rocks. And one of that has several meanings. One meaning being your attack actually gets faster as you go. You throw one strike, and you got some unbelievable speed and power, but your follow-up strike, if you need it, is going to be even more powerful. The momentum builds as you do your hiku2 attack. Your second and your third, your fourth strikes will be much more powerful and quicker than your first ones, even though those will probably rectify the situation. You're probably never going to need those in all likelihood. Now, the hiku2 idea is to take out the situation as quickly as possible. Most of your confrontations, hostile confrontations, are over with in 15 seconds or less. Very seldom do they turn into an endurance event. So whoever gets the first advantage is normally the person that wins. The one comes out on top. And that's what we're about. We're about getting that initial advantage and not letting up until everything has been rectified in your favor. It's very difficult to come from behind once you've been hit or stunned or whatever. In the real world, a referee's not going to be there to split you guys up and give you a standing aid or anything like that. Once a person is kind of behind the curve, behind the 8 ball, he generally stays there and is generally the loser. So in hiku2, we've got to, as quickly as possible, we go to the attack. We may initially get struck or kicked or whatever, but we can recover from that and get into a offensive mode as quickly as possible, but our strikes will be much faster, much more powerful than the bad guy, so to speak, so we'll be able to rectify the situation.